Hello, and welcome to NS202 Incidents and Findings. We'll begin with introductions, and of course, considering I'm the only person present, this is a recording after all, I'll introduce just myself. So the name is George Karabotzis. I'm tagged as a technical instructor on this slide, but actually, I'm doing everything with respect to training at No Name Security, right? So with respect to this session, yes, I am a technical instructor because I'm teaching. Okay. I'm based out of Wilmington, North Carolina, but I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. That's where I spent most of my life, and a stint as a teenager in Europe, where I picked up a heavier accent, and so on. The relevant experience: 14 plus years as a software developer. Somewhere between those 14 plus years, I decided to follow an academic career. I realized it's not for me, went back being a developer, and because I gained teaching experience from academia, I was approached and now joined pretty much the professional training discipline about 11 and a half years ago. Okay. No Name Security is my third stint in the professional training capacity. Okay. Now, everything you see on the right hand side of the slide, especially under experience with, these are topics relevant to our course. The more of that you know, the better you're gonna be able to understand the topics we will be discussing. Um, those of you who do not have the corresponding relevant experience, expect a slightly steeper climb. Okay, steeper learning curve. That's exactly what I was looking for. The expectation is that we will learn about incidents and findings. We're going to talk about attackers and so on. We'll discuss the objectives in a couple of slides. Okay, that's the expectation. Now, I want you to consider this course as a continuation to NS201, right? NS201 is already 4 hours. This is another 3 hours, so it's not going to be fun to be sitting in a single class pretty much for 6 hours straight, or having a massive amount of material to cover by yourself in a self-paced capacity. Okay, so that's why we have two separate classes. There's a set of resources and prerequisites. The resources available to you, a PDF version of all the slides that I'm actually sharing with you, a walkthrough manual about 7-8 pages long that contain step-by-step instructions of all the exercises we're going to be doing together. Now, fair warning for you guys, the nature of our domain, of our topic, requires quite a bit of theoretical aspects, or I don't want to call it theoretical aspects because we're still going to be talking about practical, but because you don't actually do the hands-on, that's why I call them theoretical. So we will be looking at a lot of slides. Put it simply, there's a lot of slides present in this class. I'll say 70-75% of our time will be inside slides before we go and we do the actual exercises. Okay? Fair warning. And again, it's the nature of our topic today. Um, Now, pedagogical studies show that if you engage when you're actually learning, you will be able to retain more. You will be able to learn uh, better. Okay. The best way to engage in this class is to ask for a no-name platform, so that when I show you something in the no-name platform, um, and I'll do that often, even when we are at slides, I'll still go and show you the corresponding areas in the no-name platform that I'm discussing. So you're able to follow through, you're able to go and click the buttons, do the thing. So you will be engaged, you will be more attentive, you will be able to learn more. Okay. Now the caveat is that if you want access to the no-name platform, you got to send an email to training@nonamesecurity.com. Okay. You need to indicate that you want a VM for NS202 incidents and findings, just the code, the full name, I don't care, up to you. Right? And within a couple of hours, a few hours, I should be able to allocate that VM and pass it to you. Okay? Now, not everybody learns the same way though, right? Some of you may want to be engaged, maybe want to be attentive. Some of you, they prefer to sit back and just listen. Up to you. Okay, it's entirely up to you, right? Whether you will request for a VM or not. Now, my suggestion is request for a VM. Okay, because studies show that you get more engaged and so on. Now, to access this VM, you need access to a browser, to the no-name platform that is in the VM. You need access to a browser. Uh, you need access to sites with self-signed certificates. The no-name platform installed in these VMs is served using a self-signed certificate. And of course, you need to have completed NS201, Introduction to No-Name Platform, or equivalent. What do I mean by equivalent? You have some experience with using the no-name platform. You know how to navigate to the different areas of the no-name platform, right? What configuration looks like, and so on. What are the main objectives of this class? We start by explaining the components responsible for detecting findings and incidents. The main reason for this is primarily we're going to be speaking the same language. By we, I mean people who are seasoned no-name platform operators and those of us who are newbies, okay, new users. And speaking the same language is important, okay. In addition to that, you're going to get to see a simplified version of the no-name platform architecture. Okay, it is simple. It's not the full thing blown out to you for you, right? If you want to see the full architecture or discuss the different components of the no-name platform, there is NS301 that does a pretty good job explaining the main components. Okay, even at the granular level, when you go inside the exercises, we do explain the different components and what their purpose is. Okay, cool. We'll talk the different categories, also known as modules of findings and incidents, and these are data findings, runtime incidents, post-truth findings, and recon findings. We compare and contrast them, and so on. Okay, and that's going to help us understand them a little better. Attacker management, it's very important to understand what an attacker is. Attacker and incidents are tied together, right? An attacker is a user, is an API user who has used the API in an abnormal, anomalous manner, okay? And of course, if an API user makes a call that is deemed abnormal or anomalous by the no-name platform, it manifests itself as an alarm, an alert. That is a runtime incident. Okay, a runtime incident. And then, of course, we need to go through understanding and comprehending and analyzing that particular incident. Okay, and that's the last two topics we're going to talk about. What are some of the best practices of understanding and analyzing findings and incidents? And I'll tell you right now, findings are easier as compared to the incidents. Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there in more detail. Now, every time a section of the recording is completed, you will see this section end. Right, the section end is nothing else but a visual indicator that, hey, the recording has been completed. I heard complaints at the very beginning of my career at No Name that, hey, your LMS doesn't clearly show me that the recording is done, and I keep waiting here, right, on the player, especially if you maximize the screen. Okay, so that's why you see this section end. You see the section end, you're good to go, right? Move on to the next section, that is, okay, the next recording, and so on. All right, good. Section is done. See you in the next.